Hola! I am indulging myself in a little bubble bath, and I wanted to come on and just share some of my thoughts that I've been thinking about today. Turn this off. I'm just trying to get more bubbles in here so you don't see some nipple slips. Hey, hey, hey! Yay! You got my message on the app. Good. Good. I scheduled it for 8:30. Some more bubbles. So yeah, I wanted to just come on and talk about something because I'm gearing up for this workshop on abundance, and I just wanted to talk about abundance for a little bit because this thing has. Why is my husband on the live? Anyways, I wanted to discuss this thing about abundance that's been on my mind. And anybody who knows me, well, first of all, let me start by saying my name is Megan. I'm the CEO and founder of Yes God Wellness, which is a brand dedicated to holistic health, womb wellness, and the mind, body, and spirit connection. And so I'm thinking about this upcoming workshop that I have on abundance and some of the things that I've learned about abundance over the years. And one of the main things is that initially I used to think about abundance in terms of money and finances. And I learned, no, it keeps pausing on me. I learned that is just one very kind of small expression of abundance. So we have lots of different things that we're abundant in, whether we consider them to be good things or whether we consider them not to be good things. The bottom line is that we are abundant beings. And so I was thinking about something that I heard in my studies by someone named Frederick Dodson. And he talked. Hold on, y'all. I need more bubbles. Getting a little skimpy on the bubbles now. I need an abundance of bubbles. I totally need a jacuzzi tub in my house, okay? This is like, yes, God. Because the jacuzzi does all the work. Like, it agitates the water, so the bubbles just, like, grow and grow and grow. Praise God. Now we get somewhere. Okay. So what I wanted to talk about was abundance and the direct correlation with gratitude, okay? Because here's the thing. This was a statement that I heard. Okay, you know what? I'm about to take this off the Wi-Fi because what I'm not going to do is have an abundance of technical difficulties. So if y'all bear with me just un momento, I'll be right back. Hold on. Okay. All right. I think so. I'm back on cell service now, so that should be good. So, but what I wanted to discuss was the correlation between gratitude and abundance. And the statement that I heard that like really made a light bulb click in my head is like, as human beings, our human nature is to take things for granted. So once we accomplish something or manifest something, it's human nature to kind of take it for granted and to kind of be like, oh, okay, I did that. What's next? And there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually a very needed kind of approach to life so that we can continue to evolve and we can continue to pursue bigger and better things. But it can also kind of be a downfall when we're talking about abundance and wanting to manifest things, because it can cause our emotional state to take for granted the things that we have manifested that we used to want and desire so much. It's like once we get them, it becomes kind of the status quo and the new standard. And we feel like, oh yeah, I got that. That's great. What's new? And so the statement that I heard that was so powerful for me was, you wouldn't want to eat all of the food that you're going to have for the rest of your life in one sitting. And I had to think about that. And I was like, maybe sometimes I might feel like I want to eat like that. But the reality is, if I had all of the food that I was ever going to consume for the rest of my life in one sitting, I would be absolutely miserable. Number one, there'd be no way that I'd be able to consume it all. Number two, I wouldn't be able to appreciate it because I wouldn't be able to fully experience and go through that process of tasting and savoring and experiencing those things. And so what made so much sense to me is like, wow, that's the same thing with abundance and manifestations. We have to be mindful that we are taking the time to savor every step in the process, because no matter where you are in the process, you have come a long way from where you used to be. And it is so important to acknowledge that. It's so important to say, you know what? Even though I might be subconsciously taking this for granted, even though this feels normal to me, even though this feels like the status quo, there was a time in my life where I wasn't here and I wanted to be here. So let me stop and pause and be observant and take a moment to say thank you for not being where I used to be. And let me savor this and enjoy this. Because when we're always looking to the next thing and, oh, I need this now I want that, and I got this much money, but I want more money. I got this, but I want that, and I have this now, but I want that. It's like we don't ever really get a chance to enjoy our manifestations. And that's really key with abundance. And we have to keep in mind, it's like a lot of times we're extremely abundant. We just haven't stopped long enough to take the moment to savor it. You know, we kind of get caught up in the next thing or the next goal or the next accomplishments or the next place where we think we need to be. And the beauty and the alchemy happens in appreciating, savoring, basking in our current level of manifestations. Yes, God. Because the thing is like, when you don't stop and you get to another level, we almost have remorse. Like I've had that experience where I'm like, oh my God, I missed that. I missed that time in my life when I had X, Y, and Z, or I missed that time in my life when I was fill in the blank. I should have really appreciated that more. I should have really enjoyed those moments more, because it's like once you're on to the next thing, you know, typically what happens is you don't have access to that old thing anymore, which even in it being an old thing was still a step up from where you were. Exactly. You don't get to actually appreciate what you have. And so one of the keys to manifestation and abundance, gratitude. Gratitude, 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 gratitude. Like in all these virtual healing sessions I do and all of the work that I do with women, it's really centered around gratitude. And that's why my business is named Yes God, because those two words together is an acknowledgement. It's saying, yes, God. Thank you, God. Yes to my current circumstance. Yes to the point where I am in the process right now. Yes to the unfolding that I'm watching happening. Yes to me not understanding or me even feeling like I shouldn't be here right now. But you know what? Yes, because this is where I need to be. I have faith. I believe. So yes, thank you. Yep, I watched it on The Secret. Yeah, and so it's a part that I think is like so obvious that people overlook it. You know how you look for something and it's right there in front of your face, but you can't see it because you're like just in this panic of rush of like, oh my God, I can't find it. Where is it? And then you like move something and it was like right there the whole time. That's how gratitude is. And so it's very important when you want to evolve and become a more enlightened human being to take that moment. And so that's what being still and meditating and honoring your breath is about. Because the beautiful thing about our breath is that it is the ultimate source of gratitude. If we didn't have our breath, we wouldn't have anything else. Okay? If we didn't have our breath, we wouldn't have our life. So regardless of where you think your life is or isn't or should or shouldn't be, the bottom line is that your breath is kind of like the fundamental starting point. So taking a moment to be in the vibration of gratitude for your breath allows your enlightenment and your awareness about, okay, what else can I be grateful for? I'm grateful for my breath. I'm grateful for the roof over my head. I'm grateful for this running water. I'm grateful for this technology I have access to. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful for my past because it has taught me, regardless of whether your past has taught you what you do want or what you don't want, either way it has served you. It has presented itself in the form of a present, and it is up to you to see it that way. And so I just wanted to just quickly touch base on that and just say that, that saying about you don't want to eat every meal that you're ever going to have for the rest of your life in one sitting. Let yourself savor it. Let yourself know and understand, you know what, tomorrow, I'm going to have something really great. You know what, 2 weeks from now, I'm going to have a really great experience. You may know what it is, you may not know what it is, but just keep that mindset, keep that mentality about your manifestations and about your life so that you can remain grounded in that gratitude. I have something to look forward to. I'm guilty of it. And that's the reason I'm talking about it because, I have been one to be like, oh, I don't have this, and I haven't, and I was supposed to be here by now, and I'm supposed to be there by now, and oh my God, I'm this much old, and I don't have this, and I don't have. But you know what? When we spend all our time doing that, and we do wind up manifesting and going to a new place, we wind up looking back and be like, dang, I missed that. I miss those times when I had to get it out the mud. I miss those times when I had to be a problem solver. I miss those times when I had to test my alchemy and I had to figure out what I was made of. I miss those times when I had to figure out what my worth was and figure out where I lost it. Because in those crucial conflicting moments is where you truly discover the strength and the character of who you want and who you desire to be. And we get the choice to define that. We get the choice to say, you know what? This is where I was, or this is where I am, but you know what? That's where I'm gonna go. And that space in between those two things, that's the money right there. That's the manifestation. That's the part to be appreciated and enjoyed. The destination when you get there, that's the beginning of a new journey to a new manifestation. So just be sure to enjoy and have gratitude for your process. So many times I think we overlook the process and we try to get just from one point to another. It's not about the points. It's about the process, and it's about who we become to get to that next point. That's where the money is. That's where the value is. That's where the riches are. That's where the wealth is. So anyways, yes, God, I'm hot. I just wanted to come on and share that because even for me, I think, a lot of people have, been following my journey and see, what I've been through and kind of some of the things I've come from and where I am now. And it's like, oh, wow, and so the thing too that I'm realizing, and I'm saying, wow, too, I'm like, wow, Megan, you really did that. Like, you really talked about it. You really did the work. You really, and it wasn't easy. It was a journey. It was hard. It was crying. It was digging into myself, checking myself, having accountability for myself and being like, Megan, you got to change that about yourself. Megan, you're not perfect. Megan, you're flawed in this area and you should fix it. Megan, you have this character trait that is not becoming. Megan, because the thing is that when we're able to be honest and vulnerable with ourselves, we can utilize the people that we attract into our experience as sounding boards and as mirrors. And that takes a lot of humility to be able to look at someone who you've tried to blame and put down and just beat down, okay? And to sit back and say, how am I just like them? And to actually answer yourself, that's hard. That's hard, humbling work. That's like, you can't buy that. No amount of money can buy that. That requires vulnerability. That requires humility. It requires you to let the ego go, because the ego always wants to blame someone else. It never wants to take accountability for itself. And so when we start to take accountability for ourselves is when we start to take our power back. Yes, honey. You know what I'm doing. Okay. No, you cannot. Okay. Anyways, my bubbles are fading. Hold on. Let me see if I can get some. Let's see. I'm gonna put the jets on for a minute. See if I can get them. Revive the bubble situation, because I'm trying to like hide so you can't like see me in justice. But anyways, that's really what I wanted to chat about. You know, I just wanted to just share my thoughts and share some of my own reflections on my own journey. It's hard work, but it's rewarding work, and it's work that only you can do. No one can do it for you. No one can go inside of you and love you the way that you can love you. No one can go inside of you and find God. You have to do that. No amount of money, no relationship, no friendship, no job, nothing. Okay? Nothing will give you that. The only person that can give you that is you. And I used to be a person that tried to circumvent that process. And I thought, you know, well, I make this much money now, or I have this position now, or I'm doing this now, or I have this car now, or I'm living here now, I'm living on this side of town, or whatever, all these external things that at the end of the day have nothing to do with your emotional state. They may be able to invoke a temporary kind of like good feeling, but I'm talking about the feeling of when you first wake up in the morning and the feeling of when you lay down to go to sleep. Are you comfortable being your own company without social media, without music, without the phone, without conversations, sitting by yourself? Do you enjoy your own company? If you are not able to enjoy your own company, then that is where you need to start. And in order to do that, you have to be willing to be honest with yourself. And you have to be willing to look around at the situations and circumstances in your life that you've experienced and you've manifested, and be willing to wrap your mind around the concept that you are the common denominator. You know, I used to say that, like, oh, why do I keep attracting emotionally unavailable men? Why do I keep, being in this? What is God punishing me for? Why do I keep? And it was this victim approach to my life. And the problem with the victim approach is it does not empower anything to change. How can I change something if it's somebody else's fault? That means my future and my destiny is in someone else's hands. No, God. No, God. My future and my destiny is in my hands. So I'm going to take accountability and responsibility for my choices of who I engage with, of the behaviors that I display, of the thoughts that I have, and I'm going to utilize the life and be grateful for the breath that God has given me. And I'm going to turn the focus on how can I up-level myself? What things about myself do I need to change? How can I take action on that immediately? If I'm not a kind person, how can I start being more kind to myself? If I'm not a compassionate person, how can I start being more compassionate to myself? Anything that we recognize that we need to change about ourselves is something that we first need to change in the way that we treat and talk to ourselves. That voice in your mind that curses you out and puts you down and goes off on you when you look in the mirror and tells you that you're too this and you're not enough that, that's the voice that you are competing with. You're not competing with anybody else outside of you. Compete is not the right word. The only way to have compassion for the voice inside of your head is to actually open up an honest dialogue with it. Whatever you fear is going to persist. So you welcome that voice in and you say, wow, you know what? That's interesting. That's really hurtful. It hurts my feelings when you say that to me. It doesn't make me feel good when you put me down like that. That's not a kind thing to do. That's not a kind thing to say. I don't want to think like that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. And so what you begin to do now is you start to shine light on it. Because 100 times out of 100, that voice is not your voice. That's been programmed from parents, from TVs, from movies, from people that you've encountered along your life. Okay? Because understand and know that the voice of God is always available for you as well. And that's why sitting still and meditating is so crucial, because it allows you to become the observer. The voice in your head is never going to stop. You can change the dialogue, but it's never just going to be silent. The first step in changing the dialogue is to observe it and to just say, that's interesting, and let it go. You don't have to get attached to it. You don't have to be the experiencer. You don't have to feel it. You don't have to get offended by it. You don't have to start feeling depressed by it. You don't have to get anxiety behind it. You just say, that's interesting. And you take another deep breath. Start to become the observer of the voice that's in your head. You don't have to be that voice. And as a matter of fact, you are not that voice. So, like I said, I just wanted to come on here and do a quick chat. I love you all. Please sign up for the abundance workshop that we're doing on 9/17, because it is going to be amazing. The things that have been getting dropped on me in my intuition to just discuss are really honestly like blowing my own mind. And I just love how, when I follow that intuition or that divine guidance, that God does the work. And that's the thing. It's like when you're in the divine flow of things, you don't have to be such a control freak. You don't have to be in charge of everything. All you have to do is just surrender and be in your own femininity and be in the receiving mode. And that is the mode that you generate the most abundance from. Because when you're trying to dictate and make it happen like this, and this is how it's going to go, and this is my idea, and this, and that, that's when you're leaning more over into a masculine energy. And do you really want to have to work for everything? Our divine feminine nature is to be abundant, is to receive. Why would we want to have to take control and work for things? I did that for a long time in my life. I'm from New York. I have a hustler's energy. I have a hustler's mentality. It took me a lot of unprogramming to understand that I don't have to do all that. I can sit and be still and listen. Let God do the heavy lifting. And that's how I manifested the desires of my heart. And it's like, at the end of the day, the desires of our heart are not things. They're feelings. We think we want a relationship. We think we want a house. We think we want a car. We think we want money. But the reason why we really want those things is because we think it's going to make us feel a certain way. So when we can skip past all of the things and get to the feelings and identify how we want to feel, and start acknowledging how we have access to feel that way right now and be grateful for that access right now, that's when it just, all those things that you've attached to it, receiving, 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 receiving. For a long time in my life, I felt like emotions were weak. I wanted to suppress them. I wanted to smoke them away. I wanted to move on and get past it. But when you allow yourself to be vulnerable and you allow yourself to process and you allow yourself to enjoy even the pain, is when you open yourself up to receive divine guidance. Let me tell you something. God can make something happen in 2 days that would take you 20 years if you try to take control and make it happen. Because we don't make anything happen. Everything that we want is already available to us. The only thing we do is we stop it from happening. That's the only thing we do is stop things. We don't make anything. We just stop. So the goal is to learn how to stop stopping it. The goal is to learn how to soften and surrender and allow it to come. But when we have all this fear and all this insecurity and all this ego and all this control about how it's got to be and how it's got to go, we're going like this. Nope, 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 nope. When God has it all right laid out in front of us. So anyways, thank y'all for joining me. Be sure to sign up for that abundance workshop. The link is in my bio. Y'all, right now we have like a whole 25% off with the code abundant. And it's so crazy to me because I feel like whenever I do big discounts, people don't utilize the big discounts as much as they do the small ones. And I find that very interesting. Like I'm so into psychology and like how people's minds work. And that's just interesting to me. It's for men too. Yes, God. It is absolutely for men. Actually, that's one of my intentions and my manifestations is to touch as many people as possible, men included. This work is so important for men. It's so important for men because everyone has a balance of masculine and feminine energy, and we all need to find that balance. We all need to be able to find that balance and to be in that balance, because men can tap into their feminine and receive just as easily as women can. As a matter of fact, trying to be too much in the masculine, whether you're a man or a woman, causes you to have to work harder. And so when you're talking about masculine and feminine divine energy, there's no gender attached to that. But yes, God, thank you for joining me. I love y'all so much. I hope you have a wonderful evening. If you haven't already, download the app from Yes God Wellness. You're so welcome, King. Thank you for joining this live. And just know and understand that you are what you attract. So if you were drawn to this message tonight, and any message that you're ever drawn to is definitely for a reason. Okay? It's because it's what is for you. Anything that's a good kind of standard of measure is if it's easy, it's from God. If it's hard and it has to be forced, God is trying to protect you or show you another way where you don't have to do all that heavy lifting. So I love y'all. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.